I'm Maria. I'm based in New York, and I'm a game designer and VR developer. When most people think about virtual reality or imagine its future, so they usually imagine that. When in fact, my version of the bright future of utopian technocratic singularity looks more like this.
Landed on the ground, ready to go. We put the serve in survival. United on the ground, we put the radiation. United on the ground, radio. We mix love lavish. United on the ground, radio. Take it over with fallout. United on the ground, radio. We can mute mutants for you. United on the ground, radio. Sing singularity.
So yeah, that was the trailer for my game, Bizarre Barber, that was actually released 4 days ago. Thank you. And this is how I describe my job in a nutshell. So instead of saying that I'm fiddling all day with very badly written Unity API, I just say this. I create sophisticated life forms. Like that. So yes, actually I was very lucky to get funding for the game, and the funding was tight. It was indie, and we had to make characters, and characters are hard on indie budget. These are all stages of like typical development cycle of like character for a video game, except as for VR, it also has to be very well optimized. So how to do this on a budget? Especially if we need to make thousands of them. Yeah, so in our initial game design document, we had this idea to have like roughly, like you saw these mutant heads coming at you, roughly 40, 50 mutants per level, and then it would be 13 levels, and then we'll have birds who are doing like fancy things with motion, then we'll have bosses, and then we have custom animals, and then we have 3D in person for all of that. So we needed to make about 1,000 of character. And we decided that computer magic will save us. ProcGen, computers, still great at generating things, right? So we started in a very traditional way with the concept art process, started doodling on paper, and then we did doodles in VR. And then we started to make the first generative sketches in Houdini. That basically consisted of combined primitives. We combined them according to certain rules. Houdini is actually a very great 3D package for 3D modeling and visual effects and stuff like that. The good thing about Houdini is that it's basically a glorified spreadsheet. So you can model 3D things without even touching like a single vertex, without doing it in a traditional way like artists are doing that, with like sculpting and drawing stuff. You can basically program all those things. So this is a head. This is the code for the head. So in Houdini, you program with nodes. Basically, every node is like some operation on a system level. And when you combine them together, it makes things. Only on occasion, we've been writing custom nodes. Basically, like most of the Houdini instruments are pretty well written for just make this. And here you see the nose. So this is like basically the structure, the rule, the description, the ideal platonic model of the nose. That was first test results, manual test results. So that was kind of like look and feel conception for the characters. We wanted to look them somewhat distinct, so they won't feel like they've been generated. We got some rules for them. Like even mutants need rules, 1 or more eye, 2 ears, eyebrows, nose, mouth. We plan to add some animation, so it has to be like well done for the smiles. Hair, it's a game about cutting hair. And to make things easier for us, we decided to do no textures and only do vertex colors. Then we have some rules for the game engine. Because after Houdini, we had to import them into the game engine and set up for actual game. So there are some rules for this. The main thing that was very important for us was the ability to replace or correct anything without exiting VR mode. So we basically made the whole level design in VR. And this is how the process of thumbnails work. So we import them, and then we do like little pictures of them. In Houdini, you can actually write in Python. So in addition to this, like in addition to this ready nodes, you can have your own nodes with Python. So for example, this is the code for a node that puts like custom glasses over things, and that those glasses are scaling with the eyes. And you can also write in Vex. Vex is like this weird like programming or expression language built in Houdini. So if you have to like write something really, really small, like for example, ramp map of the nose, so your nose can be like wider or shorter. So this is how you do it. This is Vex. So you can combine like traditional Python, you can combine very easy Vex, and you can also use built-in Houdini nodes. It's a very cool environment for programming because it's very visual. So for example, I find it difficult to conceive the whole system of code, but actually this way I can visualize everything. So here is a thing that we wrote in Python for generating the complementary colors. So we don't have to deal with, this like beautiful palettes. So Python did that for us. And here's the time. We finally had to generate Legion. So we set everything up, and then we set up like the seeds. You see these like little dots. Those are like every character. It's thousands of them, like literally thousands in this video. Okay, let's see. As you can see, the results are not that spectacular, not at all exciting or enjoyable. In fact, maybe less than 1% resemble something close to the actual living beings. And it was very hard for me to separate good from bad because, in fact, this process is the opposite of creation. You curate something, and then you have to retire the rest. And when I say retire, I don't actually mean they're being sent to Florida to live in a nice condo, no. I'm just erasing them from existence. And this is the opposite of creation, and I didn't like this process at all. Unfortunately, I found this wonderful article just like a week ago. It explains, like outlines all the reasons why generative design is doomed to fail, basically. So we won't have generative buildings in the future or generative anything, because people are not just, they just don't like that. It just like seems very strange and uncanny. And here is some takeaways from our process. Quality doesn't substitute for quality, and becoming a curator is actually very dangerous because curators are biased. They're human beings, so when I start curating those like good ones, they all look the same basically, and they weren't like diverse or different at all. So here's the process of fixing our mistakes. So first of all, we switched to the manual generation. We still had a generator, but now you can work it all like with your mouse basically. And it was like a big increase in quality, as you can see. Then we started to do some more playtests, and we discovered that people actually liked repeated characters more. And every character shouldn't be different. They like this, like forming these in-game bonds. They enjoy the predictability of these patterns. We engaged the community into the design. So we asked them, how can we make the generator better, and how can we generate more diverse characters? And it was really cool because people started to design characters that looked like them. And we ended up with such a widely different creative ways to do it. This is before and after, so you can see that they helped tremendously. The last step that we attempted in fixing our mistakes was adding Midi controllers to this process to make it more fun, more accessible. And the best part of it that you can actually do it as if you play music, and you can do it together with other person. So you can collaborate. So this is real-time generation, basically. And in terms of time, it takes you maybe like 3 or 4 minutes to make a character. So it was still very, very fast. And we had like not 1,000, but 200 of them. So this is the slide with the tools and resources if you want to start it. I bet you all have wonderful programming skills. And you can utilize them in Houdini. You can program your art, and it will be beautiful. Most of the tools are free except Houdini. Houdini is also free for non-commercial use, but for commercial use, you can buy it for a little less than $300. So my takeaway is eye-opening revelation. Computers are cool and exciting, but what's creative, warm, and nice people work together. When creative people work together with computers, it's even better. So the last one is this. Give me your cards, I will give you a kiss. I can give 5. Thank you.